Like I've been on like the rabbit like food mentality. Like
What is the rabbit food mentality exactly?
just like, if you had to survive off of like a farmer and you had to pilfer their land for food, that's like what I'm doing right now. Minus the eggs. Eggs, I mean, actually, no, I could steal eggs from a farm, so I stand by this.
Right.
I don't think rabbits would steal eggs from farms, but I guess I'm on like the general woodland miscreant
You're on the
mentality when it comes to food right now.
you're on the coyote diet.
Yeah.
You're,
I'm on like the chupacabra thing as well, because like I'm eating a lot of chicken and I'm eating a lot of egg. I'm eating a lot of carrots.
You're on the chupacabra diet.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude.
you're
Dude,
wilderness maxing right now?
dude, you don't get it, brother. I'm gonna start drinking blood.
Fucking wilderness. Excuse me. Why I'm like being
I'm
thrown for a loop right now. There's so much going on.
I'm pouring my protein powder into pure goat's blood, and I'm shaking that thing, and I'm
Dude,
drinking it all in one go.
I gotta
True
ask.
story.
Nice and thick. Your blood will be
What I've
like
been doing,
concrete.
what I've been doing whenever I drink protein shakes is, like genuinely, I try and do it all in one. And what helps me a lot is I put in earbuds and I play, um, the solo of Freeboard as played by a Tesla coil, and that's typically how I get through it.
It's like the fucking thing when you're at the doctor, you got to get a shot. So like your parents like, oh look at me, let's talk while you're getting like distracting yourself
No,
from
I'm not even
getting the
distracting
shot.
myself, dude. It's so motivating. Like if you were to look up, it's a video. It's just you just look up Freebird Tesla coil. It's on YouTube.com. It's so empowering.
But
It's
do you
it's
think it'll
way
give you a
more.
Pavlovian response where anytime you listen to that YouTube video, you'll be imagining drinking the protein shake?
Your mouth starts watering like a
Nah,
dog, but instead of dog food, you're thinking about protein shakes.
I'm thinking about goat's blood when I'm listening to Tesla coil. It's over for me,
Goat's
dude.
blood.
I see a
You're gonna get
Tesla on
that
the road and
four-eyed
immediately
stare like this
barrel.
cat right here.
Four-eyed
Brother.
stare for the goat blood while listening to Freebird Tesla coil. This is like a CIA activation phrase.
No, this is like these are Action Bronson lyrics. Certainly adopted the chupacabra mentality in at least one way or another.
That's crazy.
Welcome to the newest episode of the Scramble Bunkhouse Deathcast. I think this is episode 5.
Episode 5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It could
And
be.
today
I don't
we're
know.
here to talk about a match that is very near and dear to all of our hearts. One that includes two men shortening their careers in tangible fashion. A match I've already talked about on my channel because I loved it so much. And I think wrestling should become more like it, but also wrestling shouldn't be more like it. People want to have long, healthy lives afterwards, let alone careers. And that is Super
Yeah.
Dragon versus Necro Butcher from PWG's Battle of Los Angeles 2006 Night 2. And I'll admit, I'll be the first one to admit that I lied to you guys when I said I already have a lot of thoughts about this match. Because watching it back, I don't really have many thoughts besides Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
This is a match that's kind of like it was kind of like a paradigm shift for me as like a wrestling fan. Because like, I feel like my taste is kind of somewhat understood. I feel like if you listen to this podcast, there's a solid chance you know who I am. And because I don't
Okay.
know, I feel like I don't think there's a lot of people that are listening that probably have no fucking clue who any of us are. But like there was a time when I was a very different wrestling fan. I think we all were at some point because we all
Yeah.
have to hit that entry point. We all have to come
We can't get
I
to
was like
where we are
PWG.
here without being a very different wrestling
Yeah,
fan at the beginning. You can't go from
I
like
was.
you can't start with fucking Kazunari Murakami versus Shinjiro Otani. You can't start with Cameron Kohog. You gotta start somewhere.
No. Well, actually, theoretically, you could start. There are probably a lot of people that are starting with Cameron Kohog.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
I digress. But I started out as a very different fan. I was buying PWG DVDs because I thought that the guys doing the flips were really cool. And I think it was around the same time, similar times, that Donovan Dijak and Keith Lee were coming into PWG, and I was also starting to get into the dragon, the Super Dragon.
The Dragon of Supers.
The timeline is probably off. I think because I get at some point, because I used to be a fervent buyer of PWG DVDs. And I have a copy of the Super Dragon Destruction DVD set, which is apparently like fucking rare nowadays. But I was able to get it whenever it first came out. And I got that. And that was kind of when my brain started to shift, because I started to watch more Dragon and started to watch less of like the shit that was going on. And this match specifically was like a turning point, because I saw this, and the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is good. It's like, oh, there's cool shit in here. And then I didn't watch it again for a bit. And then around the time the Keith Lee, Donovan Dijak stuff was happening, I rewatched this match because I was starting to get pretty jaded about a lot of stuff. And this like reinvigorated me as a wrestling fan, because it's such a different match from like anything else that has ever happened. There are matches that are like it. We have talked about one. We've talked about Texas Death. I think that's a pretty strong comparison, honestly. But there's something about this match and just the gratuity of it and the deliberate nature of a lot of the stuff that happens that is so malevolent in spirit. And I think that separates it from a lot of other shit that's happened.
I can see that. I can't I don't really know when the shift came in my own fandom of following wrestling. It's kind of hard for me to like choose an exact moment, because I recall watching I know I watched New Japan when I was like 12, so it's really hard for me to like say an exact moment. I was like, okay, this is when I became a dumbass. This is when I really got lost in this thing, because I just got lost off rip. I do recall though that I fell in the same PWG pitfall that you did, because the first wrestling DVD I ever willingly asked my dad to buy for me. Because we used to go to Walmart all the time, and we would just buy whatever wrestling was there, which was always just the Fed, because why would any other wrestling be in Walmart ever?
Right.
But the first DVD I ever asked him to buy for me ever that wasn't like, oh, we're just in Walmart right now. I was like, hey, can you buy this for me? Was tragically the 2016 Battle of Los Angeles. So my milestone moment of the first wrestling I ever willingly asked for was the 2016 Battle of Los Angeles. But it got me very closer to the Super Daniel type of mindset very early on. I don't know when I watched it. I know I was definitely too young to watch it when I watched it the first time. Not because of like the gratuity of violence that they did on each other, but just in the sense that like I wasn't necessarily cogent enough to understand what they were trying to do.
Completely.
You know? I watched it and I would never in a million bajillion gazillion years have figured that there was more to it than Insano style violence. Which is an easy pitfall. It's an easy pitfall for a lot of these matches to fall into. Is you just watch it, you're like, damn, that's crazy. My main takeaway is I gotta take unprotected chair shots to the head. Which you should, but it should be with purpose. And that's, I think, the common thing that really gets lost when you watch this sort of stuff.
No, exactly. This match, when I say I don't know what to say about it besides Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, there is so much that you can say about, and we will say about this match. But on an immediate rewatch, even though I've seen it like a bunch of different times, I'm gonna go back around to both of your points about like I first came around to this match. But like the thing that's really special about it to me, that it's one of those matches that whenever go back to your point, John, whenever I'm feeling tired or exhausted with wrestling, not just with like Dijak and Keith Lee, but in general, this is one of the matches that I'll go back to. And it is by far the longest of the matches that I'll go back to, because those include like the Texas Death, obviously. If I'm on a time crunch, I'll watch Takeda versus Ono from Fu-10, or I'll just watch pretty much any Tenryu match that I haven't seen before, because I know it's going to be amazing. But this is the one that, like, because it's so just absurdly violent, and there's nothing they're holding back, it feels like it's so much of a shorter match than it is. Because there's not a lot.
Yeah.
There is some downtime, but it's not a lot of it, especially compared to how ridiculous and disgusting the shit they're doing is. But back to the point. Okay, Cake, since you admitted something about your Battle of Los Angeles DVD buying, I'm going to admit something slightly more embarrassing. First time I ever really watched a match and thought it was like the best thing I had ever seen. This is when I really started to get into wrestling, so it's significantly later than both of you. Was Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom in 2018.
Many such
You know
cases.
what?
Many such cases.
I wouldn't even say that's as embarrassing. I feel like that match was a jumping off point for a lot of people. Like I remember there was like stats coming out at the time.
Oh
that,
no,
like,
yeah, it is. It was
New Japan was getting crazy fucking numbers because Chris Jericho's on wrestling.
But the embarrassing part is that I like the rest of his run.
Okay, all right, now, all right.
Not like
I'm starting
the
to see what
entire
you
thing,
mean.
but I thought the Painmaker was cool at first, but then I realized,
oh no,
you know what?
No, oh no.
But then I grew and changed as a person, and now I'm so happy that I can admit that freely on a public platform like this podcast, where the people who hear it will rightfully clown me for it. But I will defend myself to the death, because if I didn't watch that match and didn't love that run as much as I did, I would not have watched Necro Butcher versus Super Dragon. The first time I watched it was actually like 2022. I watched it when it was first posted on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's the same upload or a different one, but it was immediately when I had first seen it. It completely changed what I had thought originally about Super Dragon, because I had been somebody who thought, oh, Super Dragon, he's pretty cool, but he does most of his good work against people who are significantly either below his skill level or smaller than him that he can bully around. But this was like a moment where I realized Super Dragon is way more than what I originally thought he was. He is able to do something incredible with somebody like Necro Butcher. And I mean, who couldn't? But yeah, it felt so important, because these are two East and the West Coast versions of evil motherfuckers colliding.
Right. Yeah. Before we get into that, though, Ethan, I have to ask, could you run me through the pipeline of how you, being a Painmaker mark, was the only true way you would have ever watched this match? Because I gotta run through your thought process here. What do you mean when you say that?
What's the pathing?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the direct pathing.
Here? Okay.
Direct pathing. Watching that match leads to finding out about Dave Meltzer's star system. Finding out about Dave Meltzer's star system leads to me finding out about All Japan. Finding out about All Japan leads to me watching All Japan. Me watching All Japan leads to me watching Shibata versus Okada, which leads me to watching Tanahashi versus Ibushi, which leads me to going down this entire rabbit hole. And then forward quite a few steps. I start the channel, I join Fujita's Egg, the server that we're all in, and somebody, I think it was Francis, recommends that match. And he recommends that match after a conversation we were having, which was one of Francis's favorite bits when I first joined the Egg, was how much he hated the fucking Painmaker, but pretended to love it. I was like, I had a conversation with him where I said, oh my god, I remember actually loving the Painmaker once. He recommended that match to show me what a real Painmaker was.
That's actually that's insane.
Oh my god.
That's actually wild.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's insane, because you like verbalizing it. I don't know how long ago this was, but like I feel like I remember the phrase, here's a real Painmaker. Like I think I was there. That's crazy.
That's such a wild way.
Thank you, Chris Jericho, for being such an awful wrestler that he led somebody to show me somebody who's significantly better in both of these guys, even if I'm not a Super Dragon GWE truther.
unlike me.
Who doesn't got the
Um,
tinfoil hat on?
well, I do want to, because you mentioned it passively. I feel like this is a point that I really want to go into with this match. The whole thing about downtime and the way this match is like, it's like 20 plus minutes long. It's like close to 25 minutes, and
I
it's a
think it's
fucking
like
breeze.
26 on Cage Match.
Yeah.
26 something.
Um.
Doesn't feel that at all.
Well, no, and I think there's a couple reasons why. I think this match has so much going for it in terms of like, because there's a lot of ways to make a long match not feel long.
And also, there's so many
Easiest way.
ways to make there's so many ways to make a long match not feel long. And the easiest no, but one of the ways is to just shove it full of moves. And this has a bunch of moves, but it's not just the moves for the move's sake.
Yeah, I would say arguably that is the least important thing when it comes to making this match feel short.
Yes.
Because it has a few things going for it. It has just, we're going to talk about more, everything to do with the hand as like a through line in the match keeps the whole thing going at like a great pace. But then we get to the two things that I'm really most focused on, which is the escalation, because this match continually like gets worse and worse and worse in terms of like the how violent and disgusting it gets. And also, all of the bigger spots that happen in this match, there's like little moments in between them, because these are two of like the best brawlers of the 21st century. There's this really great moment where they're setting up the table to do the multiple spots involving that table that are some of the most fucked up things I've ever seen. And while they're setting it up, Butcher like goes down to Dragon, and Dragon starts throwing headbutts, and they start throwing punches at each other, and then Dragon takes the advantage. That's how they like. That is how they transition between every single spot. Is they just fight, they just brawl, they just duke it out for a second, and whoever gets the advantage leads them into the next spot. And that is like a riveting way of structuring a match, because there's a lot of matches where guys will hit a move and then they'll be down, and then they'll like both guys will get up, they'll set up the next spot, and there's nothing really in between. There's nothing to connect it. And I think that's the thing that like with a lot of matches nowadays make them fall apart, because there's a lot of cool shit going on, but there's not a lot of gears in between the big moments to keep it all moving. The gears in this match are Necro Butcher throwing punches and Dragon throwing like headbutts and kicks and fucking elbows.
And chairs.
Yeah, and chairs. And chairs, because that is another thing that I think we need to mention. Both of these guys have maybe the most fucked up chair shots in like the entirety of the American indie scene, and they do them in like completely different ways. Because Necro Butcher will get a chair and will basically throw it at the last second. Every time he does a chair shot, he like throws the chair right before he's about to hit you, so it like goes flying off. Dragon, meanwhile, swings that motherfucker downwards as hard as he can. And I think that kind of shows in a very like dumb way, and I feel like I'm overanalyzing it. It kind of shows their characters as wrestlers.
No, I
because
agree.
Necro is like a completely reckless individual. Like he's a ball of chaos. So when he's doing chair shots, he just lets that shit fly. He does not care if it hits a fan. He doesn't care what happens to the chair. It's more of just him trying to use a force to attack his opponent, and he doesn't care what happens to that force after. Super Dragon is a very targeted individual, though. You can read his old interviews and see the many groups of people he targeted. But in wrestling, he would target his opponent. And the way he targets Necro Butcher throughout this match with those chair shots, it is full concentration locked on Necro Butcher with every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that is just so fascinating that there are these two forces of violence in the American indie scene that approach that violence in like a somewhat different way. And this match is seeing them conflict through that.
I think a good way of putting it is less so calling both these guys a force. I would say Super Dragon is a force in the sense that he's kind of like a pulley system or a mechanism in a way that a force is kind of like it's an outcome. Like you put in the effort to do something and then the thing happens and it sort of forces itself to happen just by the way of just how a system works. Even like a force of nature is still going through the system of just the climate and the planet and all these other interlocking things. Which is not to say that Super Dragon isn't, a crazy, insane guy, because he is, but he is a force in the sense that it is calculated and, well, it's as calculated as it can be. But it has an intent almost in a sense. Whereas Necro Butcher, I would not describe him as a force. I would more so just describe him as a thing. He is just merely a thing. He is this wild, uncontempt identity that I don't think you should attach any label to at all, ever, because
It's
he
form
is
versus entity.
yeah, he's just this creature, if you even want to call him a creature, because there's no real way, I would say, to put him in anything in terms of how he does things to people, because he just does them, you know? He's like a single-celled organism that just thinks 1 nanosecond at a time.
Right.
And until he locks in, which he locks in like a couple times in this match, actually, which is what makes it so crazy, is that there are moments where he's
Oh my
like, "Holy
God.
crap, this guy's got a brain. This guy exists. What the hell?"
Dude, yeah, fucking that entire segment, like near the last third of the match, where I think Dragon gets him in the corner, starts doing like violence party to him, and Necro like snaps himself out of the violence party and just starts throwing crazy punches in the corner. He's like, "Oh, you're throwing bones." All right, like he's like, I think that is a good point of like, there's not really a way to categorize him, but there's like kind of a sense of like cause and effect with everything in this fucking match. It's wrestling. Everything is cause and
Thing is
effect,
cause
or
and
it should
effect, yeah.
theoretically be cause
Yeah.
and effect.
What I mean to
But-
say is that like Necro Butcher activates off of cause. He never causes
Yeah.
anything initially himself, other than by way of just wanting to hurt and maim. He's more of a
One thing that he
reactionary
does
wrestler.
cause is the bleeding to his own head, like beating
Oh
the
my
shit out of his
God.
chair and bleeding in
Yeah,
the back.
before the match, he fucking Sandmans himself with a steel chair and bleeds the whole time.
Yeah, he's like more of a reactionary wrestler, where Super Dragon is more of a pushing type of guy. He's the guy who initiates things to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Which is where like the difference in the way that they do violence comes from.
Yeah. Speaking of violence, I do need to mention this because this is a very important piece of lore that fucking Ethan and Cake both did not know, and I think
Yeah,
a
I
lot
had
of
no
people
idea.
don't know it because this only came from it was from a 2012 interview that Dragon did after the fucking run in like 2011 and 2012, and he was like going back into retirement. He's like, I'm gonna do a Q&A on the PWG forums, and somebody asked him about the Necro Butcher match. And what he said about that is that before the match happened, he had told Butcher, "Hey, I want you to punch me for real in this match." So the match starts. They start brawling. Necro is throwing real punches. Dragon is throwing real punches. And at some point during those punches, Dragon just drops. The reason is that punch had legitimately knocked out Super Dragon. And for the next minute, Necro Butcher is just manhandling like a corpse. There's this moment like very soon after where Butcher picks him up for like a back suplex. Dragon is completely limp, so Butcher just throws him face first onto the floor. That's because Dragon is still knocked out. So the rest of this match is Dragon like trying to recover from being knocked out, fighting Necro Butcher.
And
It's
breaking
crazy.
his hand in the process.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Necro Butcher's hands get broken. There's the whole thing on the apron, which another thing about Dragon, which I remember hearing. This is fucking crazy. This tells you just how much of a PWG head I was. I think it was a Stone Cold podcast episode, if I remember correctly. It was him and the Young Bucks in like 2014 or 2015, like before it, like anything. Yeah, Young Bucks are. If I remember correctly, they were on the Stone Cold podcast, and somehow the topic of Dragon came up, which is crazy to think about. That Stone Cold talking about Super Dragon. But the Young Bucks mentioned like, oh yeah, Dragon loves wrestling. He just can't because he fucked up his leg at some point, and ever since then, it's like a nagging injury that's always affected him, and he never feels like he can get back into wrestling because like every time he starts doing it, the injury comes back, and he's like, I hate this. And there is a spot in this match where fucking the back body drop on the like the fucking just the corner of like this like the stage, and Dragon comes off of it, and he is immediately clutching his knee.
It's in our channel.
I'm not saying for
One of the most
certain.
important spots for our channel, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not saying for certain that is where Dragon gets the injury that retires him, but it might be.
Probably is. Like it probably is.
Yeah.
There's not that many other like contenders for it, I don't think.
No. This is a match that legitimately like fucked both guys up really bad. Like the other thing with that interview, the Q&A, Dragon doesn't remember this match, like, at all. I think he said that by the next day, he had completely forgotten everything that happened in the match because he had such a bad concussion from, like, the punch and everything else that happened. And I think, if I remember correctly, this is just me going off memory. I didn't check about it beforehand, so this could be wrong. I think Necro Butcher also doesn't remember this match. So this is a match that fucked up both guys so bad that they don't even remember it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Necro Butcher not remembering this match could also be a case of him just being Necro Butcher.
That is true. And it could also be a case of Super Dragon being Super Dragon. These two guys are like two of the guys, they fucked each other up and they fucked themselves up more than like most other wrestlers did in the entirety of the American Indies. Like, it's egregious.
Yeah. They did not like each other. I'll say that much.
I'll say that much.
The funniest part is they liked each other well enough to be on the same side for the Ring of Honor CZW feud, which is so fucking funny. Yeah. They were like two of the main guys, because Hero goes to work somewhere else because he wants to work somewhere else for a while. More money, get bigger. Because that was what like this whole thing was about for him. It was never about ROH CZW. He was just using it for his own means. So Super Dragon and Necro Butcher held down the fort. And they did a fucking fantastic job. Even though they're not CZW guys.
That's the thing though, man. It's like, that's just like, an enemy of my enemy is my friend type deal. And it's like, yeah, I prefer this place over the other place, so I might as well. But then, you have another guy coming into your home. Like, that's one thing. Being like a part of a surrogate family in the CZW Ring of Honor feud, and then having your actual home entranced upon is an entirely different conversation.
Yeah, and the biggest tournament of the year, no less.
Yeah, and it's not like Necro Butcher declared war on Super Dragon or anything. He just showed up to fight. But at the same time, he never really showed up before this moment, or at least not in this kind of way.
And actually, he did show up before this moment to wrestle an unnamed pervert.
Yeah, no, he was been in PWG before, but what I mean by that is in the sense of he's been in PWG before, but he is here in PWG
to wrestle Super Dragon.
Yes, and again, Necro Butcher's not a guy with intents very often, and it's pretty clear that, and both guys see it as that, because that's what you can't not see it as that. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and you could also argue that Super Dragon, being Super Dragon, probably in the reality of wrestling wanted this anyway. That's why it's a tournament match, and that's why it's in the first round. He personally did not want to let Necro Butcher get away. If he was going to be in PWG, and he's seen what Necro Butcher can do in feud-based matches or promotional feud-based matches, well, if he's going to be back in his own promotion, he's got to teach him to stay put and to be in line. And that if he's gonna be welcome in PWG, he's gonna be welcome as position number 2, and that's just very important for him to understand. Which is funny because I think Super Dragon gets owned way more than Necro Butcher gets owned in this thing.
Oh my god, yeah, no, listen, the winner of the match is Dragon, but speaking, in terms of trying to gauge the amount of damage inflicted, it's undoubtedly okay. Actually, no. I don't want to say undoubtedly, because for the first 2/3 of this match, it's mostly Dragon die. He takes the fucked up bombs. He takes the table fuck up Tiger Driver. He takes a Tiger Driver on the stage that makes one of the most disgusting noises I have ever heard in a wrestling match. There's the this is one of my favorite moments from the whole match, where Dragon is laying on the stage, he's not verbalizing, because Dragon just never made noise as a wrestler. That was one of his things, but he is so visual, so clearly in such pain. He's writhing around on the ground, just he's grabbing chairs and throwing them while still laying down, because he's in so much pain and so much frustration. He takes all that shit, but the last third of this match is pretty much Necro Butcher. This is the penance for everything that happened beforehand. That curb stomp, curb stomp is maybe the worst Dragon curb stomp I've ever seen in terms of just how fucked up it is.
There are like 4 different dragon moves where you could argue it's the worst possible version of them. Like that, I
Yeah.
think it's the Psycho Driver 4, whichever one is the pump handle driver, into the
Oh, that's
fucking
the
table.
2, Psycho Driver 2,
Oh,
yeah.
2. And the regular Psycho Driver to end the match, Jesus Christ. But then you also get, like, as I mentioned when we were watching the match, my new favorite Twitter reaction gif. Super Dragon hurling the chair into Necro Butcher's head. The back of his head, mind you. Back of the head shit is, like, the scariest and most, oh my god, what the fuck, inducing in me, at least. And it's just the perfect moment. It tells somebody, shut the fuck up, without any words.
What's nuts though is like there's a point, and I don't know what the point is exactly. It's just kind of one of those things where it just sort of happens, and you're notice like, whoa, this just happened. But just like at some point, I genuinely feel like Necro Butcher is afraid. I would like maybe not afraid is the right word, but he's acknowledging the fact that that he might not get this done, in the sense that like he goes from crazy wild man bayou crazy dude who has a weed tattoo into like being a guy who's like just trying to hang in there almost. Like
he's trying to win.
He does the Rana, he does the O'Connor roll. He is throwing punches even though his hand is broke, and he has another hand, but that other hand is not as good as this one, and he really, really needs to end this match soon, so you might as well use the bad one. And it's just like at some point in the backstretch, there's just a point in time where Necro Butcher just feels like he knows that something has happened. Even though Super Dragon, in reality, and probably in whatever reality of wrestling is definitely owned more. Like 100%, he is owned way more, and you can see it in everything that he does. But he's still just going through it, you know? It's like that adage of just like, sometimes all you need to do is you just need to stick in there. You don't need to be better, you just need to keep going, and at some point an opportunity will open for you. And Super Dragon just does. He just stays in it. He just keeps staying in it. He looks like he's going through the worst kind of personal hell anyone ever can, but he just keeps going. And at some point, Necro Butcher kind of feels that. He gets scared. And like the struggle he has in that curb stomp is like the most like panicked I think I've ever seen him.
Like I think at some point when he the moment that he breaks and starts getting really afraid is when he realizes how bad the damage he's done to his wrist is. Like there are points in the match where he's lying down and you can see it like shifting inside of his fucking skin while he's like moving his hand around. And when he like shakes it out, you can see it like it doesn't move the same way that the rest of his body's moving.
Yeah.
Like, it's some of the most disgusting shit that you only pick up on if you're really focusing on it. And that was like half the reason that half the match I was just stunned in silence. Because, yeah, Necro Butcher, even if we're just going, I don't know. I wanted to say, yeah, Necro Butcher didn't get the worst of it, but also, in like a broader, grander scheme of things, he was the one who came out of it like with more to prove in the future. He's not the one who came out of it where he was damn near retirement, but he was still affected and influenced by this match. He's not going in the same way he was going in 2006 today by any means. I don't think like if he didn't have this match, I think he could do the Necro Butcher thing and not fall into the MAGA Butcher thing for a lot longer than he did.
I think he chose to do that, honestly. Even if he had the ability to, I think he was like, yeah, I like this hat. I'm gonna wear this hat.
I like this hat. Yeah, I think
he could have like classics well into the 2010s is what I'd say.
Wow, you have not seen Dirty Ron McDonald against Necro Butcher,
so
you're not allowed to talk about whether or not
the Necro 2020s.
Well, yeah, and he has had that's what I'm saying. He's had classics to this day, brother. He's had classics to this day. You have not seen Necro Butcher New Jack. I know that.
He's got you there.
I have not.
Listen,
I'll
down
admit
for the
it.
count,
I'll
buddy.
admit it.
you
I've not.
you do actually need to watch that. That might be like that might be a top 100 match ever for me. That match is incredible. But no, there's a thing with this match where there's like a tonal shift almost with these two guys. I actually saw it visually happen. This is crazy. I recently rewatched Antonio Honda versus Dick Togo for the first time in years. Fucking incredible match.
I just watched it for the first time recently. I can concur. We could possibly do an episode on it if I don't decide to do on it.
Well, fucking there's this moment in that match, which is like every time people watch this match, they're like fucking Twitter gifers. It's the moment they always gif where Dick Togo is like punching Antonio Honda in the corner. Is Antonio Honda is like slowly reacting less, and he throws the strap down, starts throwing crazy punches. There is a moment like that in this match where Butcher is like punching Dragon in the face in the corner. And Dragon is like registering it, and then at some point he just doesn't register. He turns around to the crowd and just shakes his head. That is the second I saw that, I was like, okay, all right. Because I think we were talking about it when we were watching it, but like Dragon is mostly on the receiving end, and there's the whole thing of Dragon told Butcher, "Hey, punch me for real." And that seems like the moment where Dragon realizes, okay, I need to punch him for real, because at this point I'm just getting my ass kicked. Like, he gets punched a few more times, not registering it. Then he throws those insane punches and that fucking lariat, like elbow to nose.
Mm-hmm.
That is the moment when the Super Dragon goes super duper and is like on the next fucking level for the rest of the fucking match. He's just throwing crazy bombs. There is the moment with the stomp, not the curb stomp, the double stomp.
Yes.
Which is arguably the greatest double stomp in wrestling ever. I would say honestly.
You're wrong. It's the second greatest.
Am I wrong?
Greatest is Cheech versus Cloudy on the floor.
No, I'm sorry. I love that Cheech versus Cloudy spot. It's not as bad as this.
Yeah.
This is
not as bad. He got his fucking head stomped into the concrete, John.
Well, and this one, Dragon stomped his face through the ring.
Yeah.
He stomped his face. He stomped his face.
He's skid off of his face too.
He's skid. Like, it is a stomp that could legitimately be used for like evidence in a case.
It's
like,
the best
it goes beyond
you can extract the footprint off of his face.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, but it's just fucking. It's just the Dragon, the fucking Dragon, man. The fucking Dragon. I fucking love this guy. I am a big Necro Butcher guy, and I have come around to the point where I think Necro Butcher is like maybe the best American wrestler ever. But for a while, I thought Super Dragon was the best American wrestler ever. And every time I watch this match, I come away thinking I can't choose between these two guys. Because even with Super Dragon's lows, which he has them, that is, I will never not agree with that. Even with his lows, there is something so scary about this motherfucker. And this match is him at maybe his most terrifying for a solid 7 or 8 minutes.
I think it's
because he has forgotten about wrestling, as in wrestling is a work, it is a form of storytelling. And all, Dragon is always not the guy that works. But there is a point where he becomes like genuinely scary.
I think part of what makes him so scary is just like no part of him is visible, like at all.
No,
he's just a cloud. He's just a shadow with a scary teeth face. Like, you can't tell anything that's going on with him ever, at all, ever. He doesn't even speak. He does nothing. He's just like this again. He's this force. And I would say, in this match, I don't think this is him at his scariest. Actually, I would say that there's definitely a point in time where he just becomes scary to Necro Butcher for sure. But just through the pain that he endures, I would actually argue this is the most human that I think Super Dragon has ever been in his career. Like,
I'd also agree.
Like the part where Super Dragon is on the stage and he's throwing the chairs down and he's trying to work his way back, and there's just that long shot of him holding his head in his hands. That's like one of the most human shots in wrestling history, as far as I'm concerned. Just this dude holding his head in his hands, exhausted, tired, genuinely considering just taking the count out, and then going, nah, fuck it, and throwing some chairs down. Like, that's That you want to root for this guy after a point. You genuinely really want this guy to win after a point.
I don't know if this is gonna make any sense, but Super Dragon feeling like a human being almost makes him scarier to me. Because he has done such a good job of maintaining this persona of being higher and greater and mightier than everybody else. When it cracks against this match, you can tell he is scrambling to grab it back at any possible moment. So he's
And then
going to
he
be even
does.
more dangerous to do that.
He does. I don't see that. I think him getting there is, again, it's more of it's a genuine venture. It's a real venture, and he does get
Yeah.
there. Like by the time he's got Necro Butcher in that stomp, and the Necro Butcher is doing everything in his power to avoid pain for like the first time ever, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
by that point, it's like, okay, this is the most dangerous man on earth. But like getting there though, it feels like, okay, this is a guy who won't be on this earth much longer, and he will die backstage.
No,
But
absolutely.
No,
he gets there at some
Yeah.
point, and I don't think he feels scarier as he's getting there. He just feels more real. But by the time he gets there, it's like,
think-
yeah, this is the most dangerous guy ever.
see, that's what I'm thinking though. That's my thing. That's part of the reason why I think this is like the best Super Dragon performance ever, and also just one of the best matches ever. Is that for a solid portion of this match, Dragon feels human, as you said. That whole thing on the stage is some of the best selling I've seen from an American wrestler who like wears a full mask
because he's
of like
dead.
really feeling emotion. Yeah, but like that's a big thing. Is like people are always like, oh, people that wear masks that cover their full face, you can't see what's going on. There's no way to sell. There's no emotion, and that's somewhat true for a solid amount of American wrestlers I've seen.
Yeah.
I will say, fucking Lucha, fucking all the guys in Mexico that have the full mask. That's kind of like part of the fucking job description there. Like a lot of those guys are incredible at doing it. This performance by Dragon right here, and again, you're right. It's not even really a performance. It's more. It's genuine, but it feels so human. But then that last third of the match, he doesn't. It like the switch flips.
Yeah.
I think that there is a switch that flips, and that's why I think he's the scariest. Is because he is really human for a good portion of the match, and then the switch flips, and he's a killing machine.
Mhm.
And it's like this is a scary, scary motherfucker.
You know that photo that Armani posted in the egg of when he was watching this on like some awful TV?
Yeah, the CRT.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it to the whiteboard real quickly because this is maybe like genuinely one of my favorite wrestling images ever. Now.
Yeah.
This is
Also,
insane.
speaking of,
Look at this thing.
sorry, but
This is a
speaking of
great
Armani,
image.
speaking of Armani, this is a man who gave the match on his first viewing. I meant to mention this at the beginning of the podcast, but this man gave the match 2 fucking stars the first time he saw it.
Now, listen. I gotta reiterate. When I first saw this match too, my takeaway was this had some cool spots. It was solid. That was
okay.
also my
You
opinion
know
when I
what's
started.
crazy?
I think
And
there's a mental barrier you have to cross with this.
No,
match
I'm
when,
saying it's
like,
insane
'cause
that
beforehand, when
everybody
you're-
has like that experience where they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is good" when I first watch it, but you have to rewatch
because
it
it's
to really
the
understand.
violence.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to be at that point in your fandom.
It's not just the violence either. It's the stuff beyond that. It's the stuff that we're talking about right now. Like you can't
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
you are in a position where you've been watching enough wrestling to the point where it's kind of a call and response thing of cool thing happened, you pog and you clap.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what you are looking for instinctively is cool thing happen, you pog and then you clap about it. So that's just what you do. That's what you do when you're conditioned to that type of wrestling by a certain type of place. And when somebody takes you out of that conditioned call and response type scenario, it feels weird and it doesn't feel right, even if it is
Yeah.
better, just because it's not what you know. And I can speak from experience of having shown 2 friends this match by now. Both of them extremely fed-pilled when I first met them. Through true, genuine hard work, I'm doing the best I can to not make that happen. But in the
Braver
instance
than
of
U.S.
where I show,
Marines.
yeah, well, yeah, when I show them this match, both times, it doesn't feel quick. It feels genuinely excruciatingly long. Not because,
Yeah.
like you said, the match goes by quick when you're about it. But when you're watching it with somebody who's not about that kind of thing, this does feel like torture. Not because they
Yeah.
aren't enjoying it, because they are. Because look at what they're doing. But it's because you know that like there's a ceiling that this match has for somebody on their first watch if they're not about it yet, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't get past that ceiling. It's
completely
a brutal
understandable.
fact.
And I think I do gotta say that's what I meant by the violence is that when you watch this initially, the thing that will stick out to like everyone is that this is a really violent
Mhm.
match. I think that's the first reaction a lot of people have is that this is really violent, and then it's not much beyond that because the violence is everything that's on the surface.
Mhm.
Like, and of course, the surface level fucking rules, but at the same time, that's all it is, and it's also 26 minutes. But when you start to really get in the fucked up mindset of watching wrestling, uh, and you watch this match again, it goes from just being these guys are doing violent things to each other to this match genuinely feels like career shortened. This is a match of watching two guys actively destroy themselves.
And again, beyond that, it's still a match that has stuff to say about both guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
and most of it's probably not even intentional because of how much of this match wasn't intentional. But a lot of these characteristics
Yeah.
about these guys that just kind of get forced to happen because of what they've done to each other is crazy, and it's so cool. It's so cool to have a match like this that's basically its entire legacy is an accident almost, and that's kind of awesome actually. So much of this stuff you could say maybe wasn't even supposed to happen the way that it did, even with how Dragon acts, how Necro Butcher acts, all of this kind of feels like it was all a big mistake. And it still winds up being so concrete and like just precise and clean. It's
Yeah.
crazy, it's nuts. My takeaway is this image on Armani's TV. Like when I think of this match, I think of this image on Armani's TV. Because I think of Super Dragon becoming a Superman and then going back to being a Super Dragon and killing someone.
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
Well, I concur. I concur. Yeah, I just yeah, this is my favorite American match ever. I honestly I think that fucking DiBiase Duck and Tape Fists, fucking Flair Vader, the one where Flair's a face. There are other matches that are like incredible from the States, and there's a lot of shit from the States I've not gone back and watched because part of my fandom is that I got really fucking fed up with American wrestling at some point, and I actively decided I was gonna entirely cut myself off from it. So I didn't watch a lot of the classics. I just went straight to Japan because I was in the middle of dealing with shitty WWE and shitty indies,
So
and I was
true.
like, I hate this.
So true.
So there's a lot of classics I still haven't seen yet, but this is the best Necro Butcher match ever, which I've seen a lot of the Necro classics. I think this is the best Necro Butcher match ever. This is obviously the best Super Dragon match ever. And I think those are two of the best wrestlers of the 21st century, two of the best American wrestlers ever. So just by the nature of it, this is like my favorite American match ever. I think this is like number 6 on my greatest match ever list, and I feel like I bump it up every time I
Yeah,
watch
like
it.
it's like it
'Cause-
might be like my number 2 or number 1 or just
Yeah.
anywhere up there, man.
Yeah.
As the person who currently holds the GWE lists, I can tell you exactly where it lies on all of your lists, and as mine as well.
Oh,
Oh, word.
And I, after watching it once more, I think I placed it way too low, especially compared to where you guys put it. But it
I'm
is.
considering changing my placement to higher.
Yes, I can do that. I can make that happen for you, brother. And
I'll think about it. I'll think
So
about
what
it. I'll
is-
think about it. I'll think about it.
I want to know, but what is the placement right now for those ones?
for what do
Like-
we have them at right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, what are we having it right now?
Right now, it is my number 11, right behind Alexander
Right.
Otsuka versus Mitsuhiro Matsunaga, and that is like a genuine conversation I have to have with myself at some point. Like, the debate I have to have.
Yeah.
Like, which do I think is better? Because both of them are so great and important to my wrestling fandom as a whole.
Yeah.
Let's see. The one right below me, I think, is... Yes, the one right below me is yours, Drum. You have it at number 6.
So true.
Okay, I was right. Holy shit.
Cake, you were slightly off. You have it at number 4.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh
That
shit.
seems right.
Yeah, no.
I think
I feel
I
like
vaguely remember which
yeah.
the what 3 are in front of it. I don't remember. Well, I only remember
Yeah.
2. I don't remember what the third one is, but I might bump it up more.
Yeah, I the only thing I could say about this match is that this is a match that like it will fluctuate on my listing. It's never going to leave the top 10.
No,
For as long
never.
as I live, it will never leave the top 10.
Absolutely
This
not.
is a legitimate like this is a piece of history in humanity itself. It is
There's a
it
very
is
good
a
chance it's in the top
horrifying
10.
yeah.
it's a really great actually a really motivating story in a way. It's genuinely a really compelling proof that if you just hang in there and if you just don't give up, you can kill someone.
It's like
Supersede
that famous cat image on a branch. Hang in there, but much more violent.
Yeah.
It's true though.
It's the hang in there poster of pro wrestling.
Dude, hold on.
Yes!
I gotta
That's
add
what
the
makes it
text.
the best
I gotta
match
add the
ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta add the text to TV.
Hold on, which I'm trying to find which font here fits it best.
The funny comic one. Yeah, do the funny comic
Okay,
one.
I gotta find a color that would blue
Impact?
probably.
If they had Impact, I think Discord whiteboard just has a bunch of fake fonts.
Yeah,
Ooh.
probably. They probably did.
Yeah, Action. The fucking the font that's just called Action. That's the one you gotta use.
Ah. Ah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Hang in there.
I gotta move it closer. There we go.
All right, Dom.
Is
Would you
this
like to
it?
introduce your game?
Oh, that is true. We do have some games to play because the podcast can't be a podcast without some games. Woo!
Gaming. I love gaming, dude. I love gaming.
So, first game we're doing is a game that I've concocted in my brain because I love these two guys so much. And I have had this
Oh,
question
thank
come up
you.
in my own brain a lot. So, my question is, if you could take these two guys in this exact moment, so the wrestlers that these two guys are on fucking when did this match happen? 2006, like April 2006 or whatever the fuck it was.
September 2nd.
September 2nd, 2006. I don't know why I said April.
About a week before
September
the
2nd,
anniversary.
2006. Yeah, if you could take these two guys, September 2nd, 2006, and put this specific version of them in any era, any promotion ever, so it has to be a specific promotion, specific time frame, what would it be? So
Ooh, man.
I can start off actually because I have one immediately that I've thought of. I would take the Necro Butcher and I would put him in there's god. You know, fuck it. I think I'd do this. I would take the Necro Butcher. I would put him in the 1997 to 1998 Japanese indie scene.
That's
Whoa.
That was
So
one of mine.
specifically, he'd specifically be working a lot of IWA Japan.
Yes. Tarzan Goto.
A lot of yes, he'd be working fucking Goto Ipa or not Goto Ipa. He'd be working Shin FMW because it's not Goto Ipa yet. He'd be working fucking Ryumago's Samurai Project. He'd be working all the shindies. And he would just be this fucked up American, this fucking zombie lumbering around, like having incredible matches with fucking Ryumago and Goro Sarumi, and fucking, of course, the big one would be him versus Tarzan Goto. It'd probably be on one of those fucking Goto shows where he would wrestle the whole time, because Goto loved to do this thing where he would promote a show and he would be in every single match on the show. So he'd wrestle for like 2 hours straight. It's incredible too, because the final match would end and he'd look fine. Because he's a big fat dude, but he was incredibly conditioned. He'd probably be like the main event of one of those, and he'd probably be like the best match ever. So I would say Necro Butcher in late 90s indie wrestling, and fucking maybe he'd have a Battle Arts appearance or two. I don't know. Maybe he'd pop in with Matsunaga, and he'd be like the heater for Matsunaga during the Otsuka shit.
Dom, you inspired me.
He'd wrestle Usuda on the same show, and they'd have an incredible match.
That would be insane. It would be fucking insane. But Jom, you inspired me for my choice. It's not Necro Butcher, but it's Super Dragon. And it's in a different portion of the 1990s indie scene. Toss him in there with Kaientai DX, baby. He's going to Michinoku Pro.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's insane.
Yes. That's the point. Throw this big white boy in there with Taka Michinoku and the Great Sasuke and see what happens. Put him in the Fukuman World League.
Shit. Putting Dragon in the Fukuman World League is crazy.
Put him against
Even
Earthquake
wrestling
Kid.
Summer Santa Claus and Gorgon Cross.
Yes.
Wow.
Be the secret member of Kaientai DX.
Goodness gracious.
Him and Dick Togo would go crazy.
Goodness gracious.
That's true. Dick and Danny.
They'd be like two peas in a pod, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well.
This is. I don't know, man. It's kind of hard because I really feel like for Super Dragon at least, I feel like he's right where he was meant to be always.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of these guys are exactly where they were like supposed to be.
Yeah.
I would I think Super Dragon is definitely a lot harder. So I think for Necro Butcher, I would not mind seeing him in a Moondog era territorial situation.
That was my one. That was my next one.
Fuck you.
Tough buddy. Don't break, buddy. The new leader of the Moondogs has arrived.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking Memphis?
Moondog
Are you talking
Necro?
Houston?
The Butch Dog, brother. He's actually going to go to Portland.
Ooh,
Portland.
even better, brother. Even better. Holy shit.
Crazy.
He's going to Portland.
Wow.
He's
Necro
wrestling
Butcher
Buddy
working
Rose.
Buddy Rose?
Buddy Rose would die, dude.
Buddy Rose would die crazy.
He would actually just get killed.
That would be Necro Butcher working Roddy Piper.
Oh my god, Necro Butcher Greg
Those
Valentine.
two would be fucking insane.
Oh yeah, send
Wow.
that bitch to Portland, dude. Get him in there.
Send that bitch to Portland.
My first decree: send that fucker to Portland now.
Oh my god, that's literally the
Wow.
perfect place for the Necro Butcher. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Cake.
Yippee! Woohoo!
Well,
I gotta think about Super Daniel though. This is tougher.
Yeah.
well, you got some time because I have also been considering the Super Daniel. And there are two specific places I've been thinking of. I'm not going to say the first one because I think I've actually decided on the second, and I don't want to spoil it in case someone else is going to go with this. But you are right when you say I think Necro Butcher is a guy that you could really supplant anywhere, and he's like incredible. I think Super Dragon is a little harder because I feel like he was absolutely like he was not only like the place he started was where he was meant to be. Also, it's hard to think of him outside of the like West Coast indie scene. Like that was his home. He's basically the one that built it, or at least turned it into like the fucking like metropolis of wrestling it became. It's hard to think about him outside of that. And theoretically, this could have happened. This is not like I'm throwing it back to the past. This is more to the future, actually.
Whoa,
But
whoa.
I think that if Super Dragon had returned because he did return in the mid-2010s, but he was only in California. If he had stuck around for a few more years working semi-actively, and he went to Mexico and was working the fucking indie scene there, I think Super Dragon, working in San Juan Patislán for about 2 years, would have created some of the most fucked up matches ever. Can you imagine Super Dragon Wotan? Because I can't. I can't visualize that. I'm incapable of doing it. It is such a horrifying concept. My brain rejects it.
Dragon Wotan is an otherworldly idea. Oh my goodness.
Dragon Wotan, Dragon Damush, Dragon Fishman,
Dragon
fucking
John.
Dragon El Hijo de Mascara Sagrada, like Dragon Condor.
Dragon versus Crunchwrap Supreme. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think if Dragon had been working in those shit ass gyms in Mexico and San Juan Patitlán and fucking Tijuana, he would have gotten himself banned from Tijuana like Fishman.
Wow.
I think that would have been incredible. I think that would have genuinely been some of his career work.
Yeah, holy cow.
Okay, John,
That's
I'm
enough to
very fucking mad at you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I had this entire plan. I found this mask online. This is the mask I was gonna put Necro Butcher in IWRG to have him wrestle a fucking Black Terry in 2010. Oh, I can't do that.
Oh no, you could say IWRG mid 2000s.
But I wanted him in Huacalco to be wrestling in that dirty ass floor against Ricky Marvin
Yeah.
and Wotan.
Oh,
Going to the Zona Junkyards with Demus. But you know what?
oh wow.
I had a backup plan. I had a
Oh,
backup
did you
plan
know?
that I
Oh,
Option for
was
you.
saving. Oh my god. Okay. Actually, I have two backup plans right now.
oh, word. Oh, word.
Wow.
They are both
Batman.
equally as batshit as one another, and they are I don't know what to say. So I'm gonna have one of you please pick a number from wait, hold on. Yes,
Bro,
one of you
this
please
guy's got
pick
a
a number
wheel.
from 1 to
He's
10.
got a wheel. A 7.
6.
7. So John said 7 first. So I'm
6.5.
gonna
There
go
you
with
go.
the
Split
odd
it.
number. I'm gonna go with the odd number decision. I'm gonna
Oh,
put
so quirky.
Necro Butcher. I'm gonna still put him in that mask. He's still going in that mask. Don't you forget it. But he's going.
Okay,
He's going to
okay.
Japan. He's not going to the big
Oh?
arenas. He's not even going to be
He's going
going
to
into the
Southern
small
Pro.
arenas. He's not even going to be going into the tiniest of venues. He's not going to the gyms. No. He's going to the basements.
No, you can't do this.
Necro Butcher is going to start off in capture, make his way over to exit, and then from exit he's going to meet Cadiano and go all the way down to the Wallabies.
Oh my god. Get fucking Necro Butcher and fucking Coliseo Cerberus.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
Right, my
That's
other one was going to
actually
be
insane.
Puerto Rico.
Well, fucking, well, there you. That's a cheat code.
I mean,
I
yeah.
didn't even think about Puerto Rico. Wow.
No, but actually, I actually, no, Puerto Rico and Necro Butcher would be incredible.
That is nuts.
But wow, fucking Necro Butcher in Cerberus in fucking Cerberus gym, working the shit no ring feds, fighting fucking Jom Taro and Kazuhiko Ogasawara.
Oh,
Like,
man. What could have been?
yeah, no, dude, that's crazy. That could have happened too. He was fucking
Working fuck.
It's crazy because Necro Butcher was like a fuck staple. He won like multiple tournaments there. He was like a champion there. Fucking, he was a big deal in fighting Ultimate Crazy Kings. Him and Pondo were like the Americans that worked them all the time. And then at some point, like it sucks because like right around like 2010, Butcher stops working Japan as much. He like stops going there. But if he had stuck around a little longer, he would have been working in those fucking shitty indie feds like Wallaby and fucking Sano Tamashi and shit. Like,
It would have been so lovely.
it would have been incredible. And
my
I'm
God.
happy that you are putting Necro Butcher in the Satan mask and putting him in the fucking capture pit to fight Kitahara.
I have no idea where to put Super Daniel, man. I've been racking my brain. This is tough. Because
It is.
I was also thinking about just taking him to, the warehouses and putting him in the rental rooms, but I can't. Not that Ethan's already taken it with Necro Butcher, it wouldn't be right. Like, because man,
Oh, come on.
Mexico and the basements just feel so obvious for Super Dragon.
Yeah.
This is difficult, man.
It is. I feel like with Dragon, it's really hard because I said it earlier when I was talking about him when I was booking, but like he really just feels like a guy that had to exist in the time frame he
I
existed.
need to send Super Dragon to West Virginia right now so I can see him. That's my reason.
Yeah.
Super Dragon versus Cowpoke.
Super Dragon versus Ron Mathis. All right, no, maybe we're on to something.
Oh my god, that might have happened.
Probably.
That might
I
have
don't know.
happened.
Maybe it did. It might have. I mean,
Are you
Mathis versus
kidding me?
ECW
You're
is
not
pretty
sending
good.
him back to New Mexico to have an eternal
thinking-
feud with Hobo Hank?
Oh my
I'm thinking, dude.
god.
I'm thinking. Hold on. I'm thinking. Okay, I can't just be selfish and put him in West Virginia right now. Really funny. I need to think about
It would.
where he would be perfect for. But where he's perfect for has already been taken. That's my dilemma. I need to send Super Dragon I'm gonna. Oh, okay. I don't know what this. Okay, I'm gonna say it just because it was my immediate second thought, and I don't know why this is my immediate second thought. I need to send Super Dragon to the collision in Korea. I gotta send him over there.
Doing crowd work against the Pyongyang faithful.
I gotta get him. I gotta
Snipers
get him
trained on
over
his
there,
forehead.
dude. I gotta get him in there. They would love it.
I would
They would love it, dude. Bro, imagine if he wrestled Inoki in Korea.
love it. Super Dragon versus Inoki North Korea Classic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That would draw 10 billion people. That would draw like 3 times the
Dude.
population of the Earth.
They invent new humans for the match.
They got that shit on intergalactic TV.
The whole
They're,
world is tuning
they're
in.
actively
That's why-
broadcasting it onto that whatever that space station is that has all the important
Yeah.
human artifacts on it.
They got the Martians watching. little gray man on the moon are watching Super Dragon versus Inoki in North Korea.
Yeah, that's my
Jesus
pick.
Christ.
I'm
I think we
sticking
put
with
all
that.
of these
Yeah,
guys in the correct.
You win. You win.
Yeah, Cake wins. Cake wins.
Cake wins. Another one for the cake.
Yes,
guy.
sir. Yes, sir. How does he do it? How does he
Now,
do it?
I'm here
How
to
does he-
see.
my
who's
I
going
will
to
say,
win.
but before you say that, I will just mention my final thought was, what if we put Super Dragon in soft ground wrestling?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Can't put Necro Butcher there. He'd say something wrong.
Oh man.
Okay, Ethan, the floor is yours.
Oh,
All right,
man.
gentlemen. It is time. As we discussed earlier, I deeply apologize for what I'm about to do to you.
Okay,
But
You gonna,
I'm sick to my
All right.
you gonna
stomach.
hold a board
Go ahead
meeting
and join.
Cage match reviews?
Okay, well, let's pray I can join because you're fucking. Okay, I'm on. We're good.
Oh, there it is. I can even.
Can you see it?
Oh, I can see it.
Yes, I can see
got-
it. It's
I
fucking.
gotta leave the whiteboard temporarily so I can get full
I
view.
do.
But
Yeah.
let's take
Right.
a look.
Oh,
So here are the rules.
Mhm.
The names.
well, okay. Before you say it, what's the title? Just for our audio listeners
Oh
that
yeah,
don't
for
exist
the
yet.
audio listeners, this is who is this cage match review about? The rules are
Mhm.
the names and giveaway details are blacked out if they are given in the response. You each have 2 guesses to figure out who these comments are about, even though I don't think you'll need 2 for some of them. Mostly negative comments about good wrestlers, but
Mhm.
some of them are positive comments about wrestlers we don't like.
Oh wow.
There are 2 points. You get 2 points if you get it right for the first guess. You get 1 point if you get it right for the second guess. No points if you don't get it right. 2
Of course,
points
of
each
course,
if you
of
both get it right first, and 1 point each if you both get it right second. So
Why
I'm
is
gonna
that a
grab.
rule? Is that-
I think what we're gonna do is we're both gonna send in an answer, and he's gonna tell us if we're right or wrong.
Yes. Or no, you're just gonna say it out loud,
all right.
one at a time.
Oh, okay, but what happens? Oh, one at a time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then you, if we're both wrong, you'd be like, oh, dang.
Extremely loud, incorrect buzzer.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And after the first one, I'm gonna have you two read the reviews.
Okay.
Up first,
Okay.
this is the easiest one.
I can read them out loud.
Apart from the funny name, there is nothing. Is unable into the ring and at the microphone. Blank is a bad stable because of people like this. I'm sorry that Blank has to work with this idiot like him. 2.25 stars.
Idiote.
Oh, you didn't even say it right, dude. It's apart the funny name. There is no think.
Oh,
Also,
that's
it's
true.
Idiote.
That's true.
And peephole.
It says idiote too.
And microphone.
Microphone. And
All
pia
right.
hole. All
I'm
right.
going to give you a couple seconds to think.
Okay.
This is somebody who is in a bad stable because people like this.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
I
that
actually,
male.
I got my answer actually.
This is a toughie. I don't have my answer.
Nick,
But I
who
gotta
do you
think
think
about
it
this.
is?
Well, I'm gonna wait for Cake's answer first.
I think this is Dick Togo.
I think this
And
is also
John?
Dick Togo. Yeah, it's Dick. It's
All
Dick.
right, I'm happy to say you're both correct.
Yeah,
This is Dick
yeah,
Togo.
yeah.
Yeah, fucking Star Beret, the goat, the goat.
Who doesn't love
That's
a good
like-
Dick Togo, brother?
That's the only review that I. Oh, and guess who the person that they're sorry he has to work with is?
Show.
Probably Okada.
Hey, could you say?
I said show.
It was Evil.
Oh.
Actually, no, that's no. They. I don't know why they're saying sorry because Evil's doing his career work in House of Torture, brother.
Yeah.
They are the Fowlers, okay? The Fowlers rule, and you all drool.
That's what I'm
okay,
saying.
brother.
That's what I'm
Those are
saying.
fighting words with the like 4 New Japan fans left.
No, brother. The 4 New Japans left all believe in me. They all believe in what I'm
They're
saying
all
because they're the ones that
torture
told me to say it.
maniacs.
yeah, they believe in the house.
Whoa. Okay, this is a
Who
long
wants
one.
to read
Oh,
that?
Jesus.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Blank has zero reason for anyone to connect with him as a single star. Charisma, next to nothing. Ring work, impressive, but lacking any real sort of sensationalism that really gets the crowd invested in his efforts. He hits nice spots, sure, but there's nothing suspenseful about them because he acts like it's just a sequence to go through, not an actual competition where he might lose at any point. Crowd work, non-existent. I think he might be one of the worst in terms of lacking that. No idea what Cornette's seen in him outside of having a good body and being a solid worker in ring. He lacks that extra kick that guys like Bryan and Punk did. End quote. Written in 2020. What the hell?
And then 2020 is notable.
And of course the Jimothy shout out.
Yeah. Specifically noting that Jimothy likes him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the clues you get. But this one is a little trickier because some of the stuff
we'll
that
say
this person says is outright bullshit, at least in my opinion.
I will also say I'm not super tuned in on what wrestlers Cornette likes, so this is a little hard for me.
That and
I
mentioning,
didn't even know Cornette liked this guy that much, but it kind of makes sense because based on like knowing that Bryan and Punk, he worked with them, and that's when Cornette was in Ring of Honor.
It's fucking Dax Harwood. I don't know.
I thought it was Dax Harwood too, but then the Bryan and Punk thing popped up, and that changed things about it. Unless he teleported back to.
And this was 2020 before Bryan or Punk went into AEW.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
They wouldn't have the comparison to make to Dax.
But you do admit that he's in AEW, perchance. A Freudian slip from Ethan McPillar.
Potentially just covering my tracks.
Uh-huh.
You guys have a first guess.
I think I might. Yeah.
Herm. This is difficult, dude.
I can throw my first guess out there.
Yeah, please by all means
Your
go
first
right
guess.
ahead.
I'm gonna go with Nigel McGuinness.
Jake?
Crazy. I'm flabbergasted that you said that just now. Actually, I'm still like compartmentalizing that. That's okay. I think that this guy here. I think that this is. Oh man, I'm trying to think of who Cornette liked in Ring of Honor, which it feels like it wasn't a lot actually. I'm gonna say this is Homicide.
Who?
Homicide.
Homicide?
Yeah.
Both of you are sadly incorrect. You each have one guess left.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. I actually might know who it is, but
Shucks.
I don't know if you would pick him because I feel like I feel like he's kind of accepted at this point of like, yeah, he was pretty good. It's just his own shit. Wait. Okay. I might know who it is. No, he's gone. He's gone. You mentioned the thing about Ring of Honor, and by the time Cornette like comes in, there's the whole thing about. I was gonna say low key. I'm not saying him anymore. Because by the time Cornette comes in, Loki's like gone.
Is this Tyler Black, colloquially known as Seth Rollins?
It is not.
Oh my god.
You have 30 seconds to
I
give
was gonna say him because we're supposed to like him, and I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, but still.
Fucking Austin Aries. I don't know.
Sadly incorrect. Person who is whose ring work is lacking any real sort of sensationalism that gets the crowd invested in his efforts. Roderick fucking Strong.
Wow.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
All right,
Okay,
I don't know about all that.
Wow. I didn't know Cornette. I didn't know Cornette likes Roderick Strong. That fucked me up crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he won the world title when Cornette was around. I didn't think he was like over the moon about Roddy though.
Yeah, I just remembered fucking. I feel like Cornette said good things about Nigel at one point. I remembered specifically one of Cornette's whole talking points is that Austin Aries would be a really good wrestler if he wasn't depressed all the time.
Or if he wasn't so short too. It's his new thing.
That is his new thing, but I remember for a long time his whole thing was that, oh yeah, Austin Aries is like a great worker, but like every time I talked to him, he was so depressing. I hated talking to him.
This guy was so like negative about everything. What's his deal?
I don't think any of this makes sense for Roderick Strong whatsoever.
No, I can see the charisma thing because I feel like a lot of people look at. No, I don't agree with it.
The lack of
I
crowd
don't
work,
agree
actually.
with it.
That's I think
the charisma because like a lot of people are like, oh, he's the guy that does
come from somebody who didn't see him in PWG.
No, but no, this is just stupid. I feel like that's gonna be my response to a lot of these. It's just dumb, dumb brain, stupid.
All right, here we go. This isn't necessarily as like bad of a rating for somebody, but compared to the rest, it was lower. I'm gonna let you take it away.
I don't want to say this immediately, but I already have a guess.
No, could you say it for us, for the audio listeners?
Yeah, sure. Stan Hansen.
Hansen. Could you read the prompt?
Hey, no, you lost the right. You lost the right. You're muted. You're gone. You can't follow directions, buddy. You'll never make it. You'll never make it.
I'll make it.
You'll never make it. Learn your lines.
No. Okay, all right. Here. Let me. An intimidating brawler, good at being a gaijin heel, and decent at psychology. Not spectacular, but was able to contribute to great moments.
Hey, who is your guess?
This would definitely be Cherry Funk.
Cherry Funk?
Oh, well. I am personally going to guess, shockingly, Stan Hansen.
Daniel Hansen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Cake, but Terry Funk was the most beloved American man in Japan. He was not much of a gaijin heel. This was the lowest review in English.
Wow.
Oh.
Daniel. Wow.
God, I felt that crazy, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm a winner.
Up next.
Look at that.
Cake, I'll have
Look
you
at
read
that fluoride
out.
stare.
No, he doesn't have fluoride. Okay. He's become a hell of a wrestler in a short amount of time. Blank is very gifted at playing a heel, and lately he's proven that he can have great matches as well. Hopefully WWE capitalizes on the potential he has. He's still relatively young, and I could see him being a huge star if booked properly. A 9 at 2023.
9 in 2023 is pretty telling.
WWE wrestler in 2023. Is this? I was gonna say one that actually makes sense. I was gonna say Dominic Mysterio, but that would actually just that'd be like an understandable rating. That's not the game.
Yeah, he kind of cooks.
Yeah, that's not the game. So I had to think of somebody where this doesn't make sense.
Okay, I think I got mine. I'm gonna throw in the hat. Austin Theory.
But it's 2023. He fell off. I think he fell off hard, like by that point already.
That oh my god, you're right. That is when the Cena match post Cena match.
This is Logan Paul.
Oh shit.
I think this is the low gang.
Both of you are dancing around the correct answer, but sadly
Oh.
neither of you have picked it.
Krung.
Oh.
Also,
Okay.
please note that all of these are false statements.
Well, yeah, of
Literally
course.
everything here is incorrect.
All of these are not true. They're bad and stupid and wrong. Unlike us.
Oh wait, no. I was gonna say Eli Drake or freaking LA Knight, but he's it's the relatively young thing, but he's not playing a heel.
And he's not
so-
relatively young either.
Well, no, what Ethan said, like, oh, everything is a lie. So like maybe it's like a 40-year-old dude.
Yeah, this is Gunther.
It's Gunther.
I think that this is... see, the thing is, I don't think it's an NXT guy. Because it can't be an NXT guy, right? It can't be.
No, it can't be.
Surely not. Surely not.
Surely not.
If they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Well,
Is this Jimmy Uso?
And what is your guess?
you know what?
Is this Jay
It
Uso?
actually, this is Jay Uso. God. Oh my god, I kind of wanted to say that because it'd be funny. Yeah, I do think it could be an NXT guy. Is it Grayson Waller?
You're correct. It is Grayson Waller.
Ah! I can see the vision.
The reason I said this was all lies is because it said he's relatively young. He's 34.
34.
Wait,
Whoa!
I didn't know that. I thought he was
Whoa.
like 20.
34.
Wow.
Born
Yeah.
March 21st,
34.
1990. He just turned 34.
Bro, they hit Cage Match with the classic rope-a-dope. How'd they pull that off?
Wow.
Wow.
He just could do the rope-a-dope into the ring with the fucking stunner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is what I was referencing, John. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Well, of course. I am always the perceptive John.
That's you. That's why you're winning.
The perspective one. It is your turn to read the comment, then guess.
Well, of course I'm going to answer the question, but let me see this comment. Okay. A 4.0 from 2019. To be honest, I've never understood the appeal of Blank. He had the fortune of belong to the best generation of wrestlers in the history of Ring of Honor. That benefits him a lot considering that he has no charisma and is quite boring to watch. Obviously, he has some talent, but his matches are never a great thing, and if you hurt your rivals constantly, you can hardly be considered good.
Alright, so this is homicide or low key.
It's
It's one of the two, right?
Yeah, I have a strong feeling.
One.
I'm gonna say that it's. I'm gonna say that it's side entirely because of saying that he's quite boring to watch. I don't think you could ever say that about low key ever. Even if you're wrong.
Okay.
Even if you're wrong, I don't know if you could say that.
Okay, you know what? I have faith in the stupidity of these guys, so I'm gonna say low key actually. So
You're probably right, but I think it's homicide.
You should never doubt your knowledge of the cage match inmates. It is low key.
Oh,
That's great.
wow!
I'm giving these people too much credit.
I thought it was gonna be like fucking Homicide 2 because I was actually taken aback by the boring thing. That's crazy.
I'm giving these guys too much credit.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know if I should be taking part in this game. I work for Cage Match. I don't know if I should be doing this. So
You're taking this.
You could send this to your bosses and have this be proof as to why you should only be a custom database.
Trigger, you gotta ban these guys. You gotta ban these guys. Yeah.
I'm gonna ban. This is actually we're figuring out the guys I'm gonna ban later.
Oh,
5.0. Would you like to read this?
Yeah, this is a deep cut. This is from 2016 before Cage Match got popular.
Yeah, this is. I had to sort by. I had to sort by show all reviews and then sort by date sort by ascending and go through all the German ones.
Well, before Cage Match got super popular, I guess. Anyway, 5.0, 10/20/2016. Career minor leaguer, dreadfully overpushed. Good on the mic. Has a decent moveset. Way undersized to be remotely believable. Works his tail off to perform. Would likely receive a CM Punk level beatdown in a real fight.
A career
Okay.
a career minor leaguer, and yet he's dreadfully overpushed.
Okay, I feel like I know who this is. Is it Daniel Bryan? I'm throwing in Daniel Bryan for my pick.
Wow. You really hit him with the beep.
Nick, who is your pick?
I'm thinking. Wait, man, Brian's a good shout. Like,
I mean, you can fucking say Bryan too if that's what you're
I
thinking.
could, but like, where's the fun in that? I'm already losing.
You're
I'm
right.
already losing. So I need to take risks if I want to win.
You're right.
I need to take risks, otherwise I'm just gonna get cooked the whole time. So 2016. Could this perhaps be? Oof, I don't know, man. Could this perhaps be?
Also, 2016 is an audacious ass time to say this comment in particular.
Oh, okay. Brian was like dead or whatever in 2016.
Yeah, Brian was
so I
gone.
might have made a wrong choice.
Brian was long gone, but like in 2016.
But remember, Brian also placed top 10 in GWE in 2016.
Would this perhaps
also
would this
true.
perhaps be AJ Styles?
Oh shit.
If you took my comment the exact right way I wanted you to take it, this is the man who debuted in the Royal Rumble that year, AJ Styles.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So
He's
that's
back in
why
the
he's
game.
both a career minor leaguer, because he worked in TNA for most of his career, and dreadfully overpushed, because he came into the WWE and immediately had matches with guys like Cena.
Wow.
Wowzers.
Holy shit. That's a crazy picture of AJ.
That
I didn't
is
know he wore those
wild.
fucking cufflinks or whatever. So
The
the
first
fucking
picture of
wrist
AJ Styles that
shits.
shows up on Google Images, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude,
He looks angelic.
He looks like
Looks like the
what's
lead
that
singer
fucking
of
dude?
Creed.
I was gonna say he looks like the dude from. He looks like David Grohl if David Grohl only played in Christian cover bands.
True.
Looks like
True,
Dave
true.
Grohl. Yeah, he looks like Creed Dave Grohl.
Looks like Creed. Creed Dave Grohl is great.
Next,
man.
John,
Cake,
for you to read.
You're back in it.
Oh no, man! I gotta clutch up.
All right, this is written in 2020. It's a 6.0. Blank is a tough one to rate because sometimes he could be spectacular in the ring, but in others, you think someone from the crowd just came to wrestle his first match. Exclamation point at the end. This is a statement.
2020, a 6 in 2020.
Wow.
And also
All right,
really
before you
long
put too much
censor
weight
bar.
into the 6 in 2020, this is a man who who retired like a decade and a half before this comment.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Man, a decade and a half. Whoa. Like what? When was that?
Oh, I have a pick. I don't know. This is You know what? Fuck it. You said retired like a decade and a half. And is it Eddie Guerrero?
Okay, that can't be. What are you talking about?
That's fucked up.
What are you talking about?
No, please. This is, fucking
Okay,
6.0.
Hold on.
Listen, these are people that are wrong, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about people that are wrong.
Could you name me?
And it's a
But Eddie Guerrero.
it's a long censor bar. I think they wrote his full name.
It is a long censor bar. That's the thing. It's a really long censor bar. And so I'm trying to figure out who this is. I think
I'm locking in Eddie Guerrero.
I think I need to lock you in like a vault and shut it forever. You gotta stop talking. What the flip? This is such a long censor bar, dude.
Yeah.
But no, you can't defend. No, shut up. Stop talking.
Okay, all right.
Put it out. Knock it out now.
All right.
So, okay, actually, like a decade and a half ago, when was that? Like what?
2005.
2005? Holy cow. This dude retired in 2005?
Well, around that.
Before that. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh, before that.
Oh, great. And I gotta be left with my thoughts. Could this perhaps be? No. I don't know retirements. That's the issue. I don't know like when people retire is the thing.
Right.
I have like ideas perhaps, but I got like I could not tell you. And it's such a long censor bar.
Dude, it's like distracting. Like I can't think of anything else. I'm like, who the fuck has such a long name?
Of course, Eddie Guerrero.
Well, okay, but if it's his full name,
Edward Guerrero.
Edward Guerrero.
Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero.
Latino Heat Eddie.
See what's crazy? This could be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like that's why it's so
It
long.
could-
It's just Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And he did retire like 15 years ago, or from like.
But surely it's not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Though. You know what? Hold on.
Oh my god, are you gonna watch?
I mean, if you're doing that guy, I could do this guy.
You know what? I
think I see the vision.
Nick, who's your guess?
I think it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right, I'm
Your
sorry to
silence
say that neither of you are correct.
Oh, I thought I was gonna win.
Your silence speaks volume.
But John,
Okay.
I will say that you were right as to the reason this person retired in guessing Eddie
Oh,
Guerrero.
That's crazy.
He's dead. He's just dead. Okay.
R.I.P.
Oh god.
Wow.
Well, I immediately think of someone else, but I don't think it's him. Let me think. God, who died? Who died?
Who in professional wrestling died?
Who?
I gotta rack my
Uh,
brain to think about who died.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't. I feel like the people that are negative about this guy would never say that he was ever spectacular in the ring. He's also not. He's not dead, so I don't know why I even thought of him. Oh my god.
Could
He's alive
this
and well, and he
perhaps-
sucks.
Could this
He's alive and well.
perhaps
and he-
be? When did Brian Pillman die?
Oh shit.
he-
Well, that was
If he died,
like 90s.
no. Oh man. Well, like, okay, but did he die around 2005? Is that like what you're implying? Is that he died around? Time frame?
No. Well,
No, to Ethan. Like you're implying that they died
Oh.
around 2005. Is that what you're trying to argue?
you're trying to argue.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Before
you can
2005.
you can have opinions on. Died before 2005. Okay.
So it could be Brian Pillman.
It could.
Oh,
I'm going with Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Good old Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely
he
looked
had
like
the
someone from the
exact-
crowd who came to wrestle his first match.
Well, maybe. Well, there's some tall fuckers in the crowd, Ethan.
Someone from the
Well,
crowd.
maybe.
I'm gonna stick with Fly and Brian Pillman. Honestly, that's what I'm sticking with.
All right. So I'm sorry to say neither of you are correct. This one was
Whoa.
about
Okay.
Shinya Hashimoto.
What?
Holy
Oh,
shit.
excuse me.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Came from the crowd to wrestle is insane.
What are
There's
you
nobody in the
talking
crowd that can do
about?
anything like Shinya. Shinya Hashimoto.
What on earth?
Wow. I was so zoned in on American dudes or like American
Yeah.
adjacent. I didn't even think of like guys
Yeah.
that died in Japan.
Shinya Hashimoto.
Wow. Shinya Hashimoto is crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Fucking.
It's unbelievable.
I knew nobody would get that one, but I just wanted to show you how audacious these people are.
Yeah.
That's
Audacious.
unbelievable.
They got a level of confidence that needs to be studied.
The gall
do.
of these cage matchers.
Okay.
I think I read this one. I don't know.
You do.
All right, a 9 as of 2023. He is very impressive and fun to watch. He has done more at age 23 in his career than many have done in their 40s. Okay, so this is a
Okay,
young
and it's a-
gun.
Young gun.
A young. Oh, this is Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Oh my god. No, he's not 23.
Is he not?
No.
I mean, 23 is
Uh,
23 is crazy young. I
okay,
know he's not like.
you're right. I know he's not old.
I know he's not like
Um,
old, but like he's in his 20s. I know that.
Fucking God, I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
2023, 20 year fucking Jordan Oliver.
Well, now I gotta think, dude. 'Cause I gotta figure out what age MJF is from the top of my dome.
MJF is 26 years of age. This is Jordan Oliver.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh,
Jordan
oh,
Oliver.
I knew it.
Wow,
I felt the senses. I felt it. I was like, this is fucking Jordan
that's
Oliver.
actually insane that you called that. That's insane that you called that.
Listen, I
You
hate that
could have
piece of
put any.
shit.
This could be a review for any indie shitter ever.
I was legitimately. My first thought was Blake Christian, but like Blake Christian is not 23. No
Blake
way.
Christian, Alec Price, Marcus Mathers. You could put literally anybody in that, and it would have fit.
Wow.
But John just hit like the half-court buzzer beater.
That's insane. Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. All right.
Whoa.
All right. From 2013, 1.0. I don't care what people think. This guy is not a wrestler.
Oh man.
Wow.
This is so vague, dude. This could be anyone on Earth.
Yeah. Oh my. Actually, I'll guess right now. It's the Necro Butcher.
See, I was also thinking about it being the Necro Butcher because at some point he's got to bring it back to the podcast, right? Like surely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that this is about John Cena.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's John Cena.
This would be
That's a
crazy if
spread.
it was about John Cena. It was about the Necro
Yeah.
Butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Necro Butcher.
It had
Under
to
what
be.
is most
Wow.
likely Jim Cornette's burner account.
No, well, okay, well, I will say Jim Cornette really fucked with the Necro Butcher. I remember that. That's a crazy factoid for me to remember, but I remember Jim Cornette was like, "Yeah,
That makes sense.
he reminds me of Bruiser
Yeah,
Brody."
no, that makes a lot of
kind of
sense.
does. Yeah, I think
yeah.
his one complaint with Necro Butcher was that he would
makes
take
so
it
much
too
sense.
far.
He did the whole angle with him in ROH CZW. He was probably
Yeah.
the only guy that
Hey.
Jim Cornette trusted to do an angle with.
Yes, he did. He pretty much said that verbatim. He's like, I thought all the CCW guys were fucking stupid, but Necro Butcher was a really smart dude and had great ideas about wrestling. He would just take it too far. Like, yeah, no, Necro Butcher is a Jim Cornette guy, I'm pretty sure.
Tragic.
Which is crazy to think about.
Many
Fucking
cases.
broken clock, etc.
6.0 from 2020. He was better on his early days in the business, but apart from that, he spent a lot of years having terrible performances.
This is the
All right.
Vegas.
Yeah, this one's pretty.
This is really
This one's really sublime. Sublime. This one's very subtle. Very subtle.
Fuck.
His early days in the business, huh?
Who would a person with bad opinions think was really good during the early days?
Yeah, and then became not as good in the later days.
Also, this is the final one.
Oh
I
shit.
can still come back. I can do this. I can make it. I can do this. I'm gonna get like a 25-pointer right here.
Yeah.
This has got to be. I gotta go through the roll attack.
Fuck. I got a wild guess actually. This is most likely wrong.
This is Rockstar
but
Spud.
This is fucking Spud. Yeah, this is probably wrong, but I just gut feeling. This is CM Punk.
No, this is Rockstar Spud.
This is you're zoning in. You're
Yeah, this is Rockstar Spud.
You're logging in.
Alright, I'm sorry to say neither of you are correct. Would you like to play one more time?
Yeah, no.
Of course.
Okay. If it's not Rockstar Spud, it has to be like hold on.
It has to be fucking Snitsky.
This has to be
Oh wow. God. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Early days in the business could be a multi-year span per se.
It could.
I'm going with Kenta Kobashi.
Oh, interesting. That's
I feel like there's a weird sect of fans that think after like 2000 he became like the worst wrestler.
Yeah,
ever.
when she just became like anti-knee Kenta Kobashi.
Yeah, when he stopped being able to do like everything is fast. Like, oh, this guy sucks and is the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. That would make sense if this wasn't Deuce from Deuce and Domino.
You're going with Deuce?
I think no, I'm going with Domino. You convinced me.
You're going with Domino.
This is
Okay, I was
Domino.
gonna say.
Yeah, this is gotta be Domino.
You gotta go with one of them.
Mhm.
You know, come on.
Come on, show me Domino. Show me that Domino.jpg right now, dude.
Well-
Domino.jpg.
This is a post made 2 years after the man's passing. About
Okay,
one.
well, we're wrong.
Big Van Vader.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. Wow.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
That is
I
quite interesting.
it's an opinion. I mean, I guess if they were just watching like his WWF run, maybe. I guess that makes sense if it's a person that just watches WCW and WWF shit. Like, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But also, that's still kind of wrong.
I knew I should have said Deuce.
That would have gotten you so much closer.
It's like 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Deuce was the link.
I almost had it.
All
From
right.
Deuce to Jimmy Snuka to Vader.
I'm happy to announce the scores.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
You came in with 4 points.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Dom, you had 11.
I don't know if I should be happy about that.
That's
but
crazy, man.
I win. I win.
This
I
is
guess.
insider trading, dude.
Hey,
He
I
literally
think you
works
should
there.
be happy about this because this is like scoring in this game is like scoring in golf. The less you know about the inner machinations of the mind of those cage match inmates, the better off you are probably
Guess that's
psychologically and morally as a human being.
You got a point there.
No, Cake. You once again, Cake wins.
Yes.
How does he do it? It's a miracle.
I don't know. I've grown to see the vision of a lot of the inmates, and it's a scary one.
That's horrifying.
Okay, which do you think is the most egregious out of all of these?
Shinya Hashimoto. It's not even a question.
Shinya Hashimoto,
It's legitimately not even a question.
Shinya Hashimoto one,
Like,
lot.
not like rating. It's like sometimes he's spectacular, but other times he looks like he came from the crowd.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Insane.
Also, that explains the long blank. They absolutely wrote Shinya Hashimoto in full.
Dude.
Like, oh my,
Double space
yeah, no,
between
that's
Shinya and Hashimoto too.
I
yeah.
cannot believe
Wait,
they said that.
double space.
I cannot believe they said that. Wow.
Yeah, it's legitimately like, and like there was some other stuff too. Like the fucking Roddy one was bad, of course.
Yeah, the Roddy one was kind of nuts.
There were some, there were a lot of bad ratings. The AJ Styles one was pretty funny,
Mhm.
but the Shinya one is like,
It's hard to even
baffling.
understand.
yeah, no, I can't understand it. It takes me aback.
My
I am
favorite one to find
Perplexed.
was the Grayson Waller one because I don't know how somebody managed to get every single point incorrect.
Yeah, including the young thing. Oh my god, the low key one too was actually pretty good. Just saying, like, low key was only good because he was wrestling Ring of Honor when everyone else was.
Yeah. Bro, they hit him with the Shinzaki technique.
Dude, it's the Shinzaki tech for
They
real.
genuinely
It's
hit him with
crazy.
the Shinzaki debate tactic.
Dude,
Can we
fucking-
explain
the
the
Shinzaki
Jinsei
Gambit?
Shinzaki debate tactic to the people?
I mean, okay, I guess it's just, in short, the Jinsei Shinzaki Gambit is when you present an argument as a person only ever had good matches against better wrestlers.
Like, oh, this match was good because of the other guy, or
Yeah.
guy I don't like was dragging it down.
Yeah, basically saying like every time this person's in a notably good match is because he's wrestling somebody else who is notably better,
Mhm.
or it's the person they were wrestling. That's why it was good.
Yeah, they made it good. The other guy didn't make it.
Yeah. It is a devious tactic and discourse to utilize.
It's brutal.
And utilizing that on low key with the entire Ring of Honor roster is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we all know he
It's
got
even
carried.
crazier because they wouldn't wrestle the way that they do without Low-Ki.
No, Loki like kind of changed shit. He kind of changed the industry. Like,
Oh man, these cage matchers, brother.
yeah, no, these cage matchers for real.
We gotta deal with these guys.
We gotta, but
What do you think should
yeah,
happen
Ethan,
to
I'm
the
happy
people who
you.
posted these reviews?
I think that the people who posted these reviews should personally be shot out of a carnival cannon